This is a bit lazy of me, but I really like this guy's work on Twitter. Critical thinker. He's done Jake Paul. Apologies if you see a reflection of me in the screen. Let's go.
A lot of DMs since I've been making these videos. I get a lot of good matchups, and if one of them piques my interest enough, I'll make a video on it, or I'll go and check it out a bit further. Like this one here, Jake Paul and the boxer Caleb Plant. It's really interesting, this one. I weren't too sure when I first heard it, obviously, but then when I started looking into it and started matching up the faces, it's a pretty spot on match, to be honest. Look at the eyes and the chin and the mouth. Don't move. Same thing. Now, it's quite interesting because obviously Jake Paul's gone into boxing now, and he's a novice, but this guy, Caleb Plant, he's an ex-world champion, and their weight class is not that different. Caleb Plant's a super middleweight, and I believe Jake Paul fights a cruiserweight. So there's only two weight classes, and boxers jump up and down weight classes all the time. That's not a big deal for them. So they can lose weight and put on weight as part of their job. But yeah, just looking at that, even the beard, the beard matches up as well really good. The nose, that's a pretty good matchup. And I know people say that ears are different, but it's like I said before, I think ears are a misdirection. I think they say that to throw people off, because if you're wearing a lifelike mask, what does it matter what your ears look like? It don't matter, it's going to be covered. So for me, it's more about the eyes, and the mouth. If the eyes, mouth match up. Same with the teeth. Sometimes the teeth will match, but then other times they might have veneers on or fakies or whatever. So there you had a couple of clips of both of them hitting the pads. So, they both can box and hit pads. And here, I know like the body looks slightly different, but you got to think there's a different weight class there. They're two weight class apart, so he's going to lose weight a bit. But again, the head matches up and all that. People say about the tattoos as well, but they could wear a bodysuit. And here you can see they're both the same height. And people said, well, Jake Paul might fight Canelo one day, but maybe he already has as his alter ego.
Here's his other video on Jake Paul.
Recently, that interested me regarding Jake Paul, the real Jake Paul. And obviously I've covered Jake Paul in one of my previous Activate Reality videos, so I found it interesting where he said it's actually not possible to know the real Jake Paul in private, maybe because he's a fake character. Now, obviously, most people will look at this article and say he's merely talking about his public persona. He's simply talking about who he is in private. But I'm obviously looking at this through the lens of Activate Reality, because they always like to put these little Easter eggs in plain sight. Right. And here he's saying, this is quite an interesting quote as well. He's basically saying that the only other people that can really, depict who someone is behind off camera is other celebrities. I wonder why that would be. So I thought I'd do another face match-up with Jake Paul and Caleb Plant, the boxer, as I previously done. And I've slowed this one down. I've done this one really slow, so you can really see the blend in the face. I think they've actually got very similar faces. But as I say with all these things, I weren't 100% on this one when I first done it. And as I say with all these videos, take it with a pinch of salt and decide for yourselves. I'm not telling anyone this is fact. But yeah, it's certainly interesting. You can really see the similarities between these two. And obviously, they're both boxers now. Jake Paul's got into boxing. So yeah, I find it quite interesting, this. Now, obviously, you're going to get people that look at this stuff and say it's complete nonsense. And, in a way, I respect that. People's entitled to their own opinions. It could be complete nonsense, I don't think it is. I think there's something to it. As much as difficult it is to get your head around, I actually think there's something to this. But as said, I never say anything's 100%, and I'm one of these people where if I'm presented with new information, my mind's changeable. I'm never a zealot in my views on anything, I'm always learning and evolving. And but good match up here with these two. And obviously Jake Paul's thrown up the gang sign, the sign of silence, so it's just letting you know he's part of the gang.
And there's the handle.